Day 2 in Augusta, at Augusta, in the books. Easy English for everybody else. Not quite as entertaining as yesterday, but we've got to the cut line and we're here. And the weekend at Augusta is upon us. And man, do we have a star-studded leaderboard. But, you know, trying to walk this course by yourself, especially if you're new to it, as we've seen with some guys, it can be really challenging. And I'm not going to walk the course today by myself because I found one of the stooges, and there he is. Vegas Mac,
Hey.
What is going on, my man?
Yeah. Hey, not too much. I saw your show yesterday, enjoyed it, and I had to hop on with you. I'm like, let's do this.
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff yesterday. Not quite as adventurous. I mean, everybody kept their shafts in proper position in public view. Nobody did anything in Reyes Creek today except put a couple of balls in there, but that's pretty par for the course. Interesting stuff at the top of this leaderboard, and the guy who was leading yesterday, Mac, he's still leading 71 for Justin Rose today. A 1 under puts him at -8 for the tournament, one shot ahead of Bryson DeChambeau, who shot a 68 today. And Rory McIlroy, after a bad hour yesterday, put together a 66 today. And we're going to keep going down the leaderboard, but I can just stop right there and boom, if that's our weekend and that's what we get going down the stretch, fantastic. And I don't think there's a golf fan anywhere that would complain about it. Mac is frozen.
No, I mean, like you said, except for, a 1 hour stretch. Except for about a 1 hour stretch, Rory McIlroy should be actually leading this thing. I mean, he just had a couple of bad holes at the end of that first round. And it was interesting to see, everybody went and bashed Rory after, round number 1. And they say, it's in his head, this, that, and the other thing. So it was going to be interesting to see what happened. And he had a really nice bounce back round 2, very consistent. Like I said, he's going to be tough this weekend. He's going to be really tough.
Yeah, and it all started on 10 for him today. That's when he kind of kicked it into overdrive. Birdie, par, eagle, par, birdie, par to finish. Yeah. So 31 coming back in for Rory after just a ho-hum 34 on the front. But we've seen this several times with Rory, and that's why he's such an interesting dynamic in this whole setup as we go into the weekend here, Mac. Like, and you and I talk about this a lot in the Mike versus Mac segments. Like, we know when Rory gets it going, and sometimes just get out of the way and watch. And maybe this is that, but I wonder how much of this is actually in his head, because we know how desperately he wants that green jacket and why. I mean, the dude's a Hall of Famer already, but it adds to the legend and the lore, if you will. So I'm very interested to see the Saturday round 3 Rory that we get, because I think that'll tell us kind of early, Mac, where we're headed with this thing.
Yeah, I mean, he's had himself a really good start to this season. It's been really, really good for him. I think you're right. I like the way he approached the front 9. I mean, it's one of those things. I think Rory sometimes, it's like he goes on a hunt. He tries to hunt birdies. I think when he just kind of relaxes and lets his game kind of come to him, and that's kind of what, like you said, what he did. He kind of didn't force anything on the front, and then took advantage of those holes on the back where, his length, his ability to hit those long irons make a huge, huge difference. And we all know if he can get that putter going, he is really, really tough. And he had that, I think, 4 threes right in a row on that back. And that's Rory for us, though. I mean, he'll have those 4 or 5 hole stretches where he looks unbeatable. He's just got to stay away from that big number like he did in the first round. Just pars are good. Pars will win you this. Pars will win you this for the most part. Just don't make the big number.
Yeah, and Justin Rose, another great nugget. Again, I mentioned it yesterday. If you're not following Justin Ray Golf on X, I question how much of a golf fan you actually are. Justin Rose being the first,
he's great.
The first guy to have the outright lead after rounds 1 and rounds 2 since 1980. Like the previous 8 guys that did it before Justin Rose, only one of those guys ended up going on to win the whole thing, and that was Jordan Spieth in 2015. I'm really interested in this group that's behind Rose, DeChambeau, and McIlroy because I think there's a lot of interesting stuff here. Corey Connors, he's also T3 at minus 670 today. His lowest 36 hole score in a major tournament. He's never won one. Went -2 today. And I thought they brought it up perfectly on the broadcast. He's a guy to kind of watch this weekend. And I don't know, I didn't look at it right before we went live here, but it was about 2 o'clock this afternoon, our time out here on the left coast. I was still able on one of the betting online books to grab Corey Connors at 18-1 still. Scotty, again, is the hands down favorite. It looks like, as far as the odds that are provided on the PGA Tour website right now, Connors is plus 1,200, so 12-1 to win. Then you've got Matt McCarty, who kind of came out of nowhere, 68 today. He's at T5, and this group at T5, I think, really is going to dictate what happens for the bulk of this weekend. You got McCarty, we got Shane Lowry, 68 today for Shane. Scotty Scheffler, who looked mortal at times today, also at -5. He shot a 71 today. And Tyrrell Hatton, who I thought played really, really well. A couple of breaks go his way. He's probably a little bit higher up on the leaderboard. But that group right there with McCarty and Lowry and Scheffler and Hatton, and then the entire Højgaard family that's in this tournament, Rasmus is at the top of that list. At T9, he's -4. But what do you make of that group at the 5, Mac, with McCarty, Lowry, Scheffler, and Hatton?
Yeah, the one that stands out to me is Shane Lowry. I mean, he's due for one of these kind of breakthrough victories. And I mean, we both love his game. He's one of I know he's one of your favorites, and I really like him. The other one that kind of, I don't want to say kind of lurks there for me is Victor Hovland. I mean, he has been so up and down. But he's got himself a win this year. I mean, he's just that type of player. Just even though he plays bad, it just doesn't seem like it really bothers him. And he's the one I kind of started. Him and Jason Day. I can see him and Jason Day making a little bit of a run, especially on Saturday, and getting themselves in that position. And that's kind of where you want to be in the Masters. In that last round, you want to be just close in case somebody just takes that one bad step and be there. But those are the two. Victor Hovland and Jason Day are the two that I'm going to keep my eye on tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow, moving day, always fun, especially at the Masters. Some other notables in here before we talk about the guys that are not hanging around with us for the weekend. Xander Schauffele, T17. He is 6 back of the lead at -2 in there with Tommy Fleetwood, Davis Riley, Michael Kim, who is still playing tremendous golf, Brian Harmon. That's your group at the -2. It still looks like Xander is struggling coming off of that early in the season injury. He doesn't look quite all the way back yet. He's another guy that, can kind of catch that lightning in a bottle there. And right above him, Colin Morikawa, too. I mean, I got to see a lot of Collins play today. And just a couple, and this happens all the time at Augusta. What makes this tournament as great as it is, you're just a smidge off, and it puts you in a spot that is deadly coming back especially if you're trying to get up and down. And I think Morikawa got a couple of those bad breaks today, but that group right there, I mean, yes, they're 6 off the lead, but nobody really at the top is running out and running away with it right now. So I wouldn't call any of those guys out of it, but I'm interested to see when we get full Xander Schauffele back, because that just adds to it. That's great golf. He's one of those guys that can go head up with Scotty Scheffler. We always talk about, hey, who can stop Scotty? Who can stop Scotty? That's one of the guys that has.
Yeah, I mean, he does not look comfortable at times. Hasn't played well. Like you said, coming off of that injury. And it's interesting to see what's going to happen with those guys. It seems like it's a long way off, but I was kind of shocked today that nobody really at the top made a move to kind of extend that lead. You know, extend it out to a little bit more than it was. I know, especially in the afternoon, there was a lot of wind. It was really, really windy on the course. You could see that. You could hear it just on the TV. I mean, you could hear the wind whipping around. And when the wind starts kind of moving around there, it's very, very difficult. So nobody really kind of, pushed themselves away today.
Right.
Nobody really made a huge move. So we'll have to wait and see. But that's a one under is right now seems like it's going to be a lot to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, the course is playing from what we can see. The course is playing pretty true to what you expect, at Augusta. And Max Homa goes 70 today, ends up making the cut. I'm sure by now most of you have seen the video of the caddy just completely oblivious to the world that he hit on a recovery shot from the crap. But Homa able to get in and make the cut. He's T27. It's his first made cut in a long time. So happy for Max. Again, one of the best guys in golf, one of our show favorites. And as I mentioned yesterday, congrats to Max and Lacey. Baby number 2 on the way for them. So a lot of good vibes going, and hopefully that'll be one of those things that kind of serves as a catalyst for Max, because it's fun when Max is playing good golf.
It is, and I have to be honest. It's hard to watch him right now. It seems like he's fighting everything. I mean, you watch him after every swing that he takes. He's really, really working on his mechanics. He's just you can tell he's not comfortable. Did you see the other day? I think he hit like 200 and something balls at the range. It was like 260 or 270 balls at the range. I'm like, he's not. And if we've all played golf, we've all been out there. We all have that day where just you walk out there, the swing feels great, and then we have other days you walk out there and you go, have I ever played this game before? And I can't imagine at that level what it has to feel like, because these guys have all had great success. I mean, won tournaments. Their whole life, and just you could just see it's just not just a physical, it's a mental struggle for him right now, and he needs maybe, like you said, this will be what he needs to kind of catapult him, for the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And another guy, and not because I have him in Mike versus Mac this week, but of all the guys that are, excuse me, of all the guys that are far back. Because the experience with him, and when you bet on this guy, we'll talk about where I'm standing, because I'm in a really good spot heading into the weekend. But Justin Thomas, because we've seen him do this multiple times, where he's playing good, you can tell he's striking it well. A ball right here, high side, low side on a putt. A couple of them burn edges, and he kind of hangs around at T27 at even par. No, I'm not saying that I think this is going to happen, but of all the guys that are a decent distance back, that, hey, where did this guy come from? And maybe he gets in the final 3rd or 4th group on Sunday. Justin Thomas is the guy I'm really excited to see what happens tomorrow, because we've seen him just kind of play even and whatnot. And then we've seen him just kind of be dialed in that zone, and he's hitting some really good shots right now. So, I'm interested to see what happens with Justin Thomas and how far he can climb, especially if the top of that board kind of levels out and stays where they're at. Then, he's got an even better shot. But I'm really interested to see what he does. He's in that even par group that has a lot of guys. Max Homa, we were just talking about, Nick Taylor, Wyndham Clark, Sahith Theegala, Davis Thompson, Aaron Rye. They're all guys kind of hovering at that even par mark. Tom Hoagie's another one. And then Min Woo Lee starts the group of the -1. So let's talk about some of the guys that aren't going to hang around for the weekend. Is there one that jumps out
Mike,
to you as really?
Before we do that,
is there a? I want to know if there's a guy on the cut list that jumps out to you.
You mean who just made the cut or who just missed?
No, who missed the cut?
I couldn't hear your question.
Yeah, who missed the cut?
Who stands out? You know, it's funny to me. What's happened to Dustin Johnson? That's the guy to me that's a question mark. You know, I guess, you know, he just seems like he's just one of those guys that this is going to sound terrible. He's just in it for the money. Like, he doesn't really care. And I mean, I just don't know. I get very frustrated to watch him because he was such a good golfer, and he still is. But it's like, I guess it's kind of my question. And I was going to ask you. I see. Do we really miss these live golfers? I mean, they're all back now. I mean, a lot of these guys came back this week, and I have to be honest with you. I just sat there after the first couple of days and was like, I don't know that I miss them. I don't. It's kind of fun to see them, but I'm not missing John Rahm. I'm not missing Joaquin Neiman. I'm not missing Dustin Johnson. I'm not missing Brooks Koepka. How are you feeling on that?
Sorry. It's apparently...
That's okay.
My phone doesn't want to pay attention to shut the fuck up right now. You know, Bryson. I think it's Bryson. Like, for me, that's the one guy that I miss. But I don't miss him because Bryson's smart enough to think outside the box. I mean, so Bryson might be playing on the LIV Tour and we only see him in the majors on the PGA Tour, but you know, we see him all the time between everything he does with his Breaking 50 on YouTube, all that. I mean, I think he is really the one that conceptually has understood what it means to grow the game and to do it the right way. As far as the rest of the guys, I mean, Dustin Johnson was kind of always the guy that I rooted for a lot on the weekends. I do kind of miss prime Dustin Johnson a little bit, but Dustin, you know, and again, I'm not throwing shade, so calm down if you're watching. Don't jump all over the freaking comments. I couldn't hold a candle to Dustin Johnson on a golf course if he spotted me 40. That being said, I think anybody that watches golf on a regular basis, Dustin was one of those guys that the move to LIV, I think, made a lot of sense for him. He was coming off of a handful of injuries, never really quite got all the way back, had some off the course stuff that he was dealing with. So he's the guy that, like, prime Dustin Johnson, I miss on the tour. I'm not upset that this Dustin Johnson is not somebody I get to watch week by week, if that makes sense, in a really long explanation.
Yeah. No, that's good. And I think the other one that I'm a little bit surprised that didn't make it to the weekend was Adam Scott. You know, I just always feels like this is a course that he seems like he does really, really well. And he's just I was just surprised when I looked and saw, you know, I think he was 5 over. I was kind of surprised. I thought he would make it, you know, and of course, you know, we always have a couple of sentimental, you know, we would have loved to see, I think, Bernard Langer make it, or Freddie Couples make it. I mean, how can you not like Freddie Couples? I mean, that just seems like a dude that, you know, you just want to go spend the weekend, hit some golf balls with, and just kind of listen to his stories, man.
Phil Mickelson fans hate Freddie Couples. We got into that a couple of weeks ago on Twitter. Oh, and now it's official. I just saw it right in front of my eyes on the PGAtour.com website. It has moved positions to cut, and one of my favorite things to do when I see a list of guys cut is find Phil Mickelson's name. There he is. Happy trails, Phil. Not going to miss you this weekend. That's just me. Billy Horschel is another guy I kind of thought was going to play better this weekend.
And and I'll be honest, I love Phil. I'm kind of surprised he didn't play better. I mean, he loves that course. He's no offense, he's a master at that course. It's just not happening for him. You hear about how well he's been playing. That's all we heard. Yeah, I know. Shucks darn.
Are
So,
you playing
how
well
about
if
somebody that
nobody's?
surprised you?
Well, I'll tell you who surprised me. Are you playing well if nobody's watching? Is my question. Just had to throw that out there. Guy who surprised me um, continues to surprise me, and I when I use the term surprised, I'm not necessarily surprised because I've seen him like on his game so many times, and he's a very very solid player that's always going to hang around. He's going to make a lot of cuts, but I think he's been playing really really well this year. Michael Kim at T17, back to back 71s, and he's been unbelievably consistent this year. We've talked about how much we love him on his social media presence because he does a lot of Q&As and is not afraid to answer the questions. Another guy that understands how to grow the game.
Mhm.
But not surprised that he made the cut. Just overall pleased on his entire season because I really do feel like he's been extremely consistent. And that's one of the
Mhm.
things that's a strength in his game. I don't know what's going on with Sahith Theegala right now. He seems like he's kind of stuck a little bit. Happy to see that he made the cut. Hopefully, he can kind of get some things going this weekend. I mean, we know the RBC Heritage is coming up. They've put out the expected most of the field list now, so I'm interested. That's probably the thing I'm most interested as we go into the weekend is obviously the top of the leaderboard, which is as star studded as you can get at the best place for it to be star studded, an absolute win for golf. I'm also interested to see a lot of these guys that we've talked about in that 2 under, 1 under, even par, the Max Homas, the Sahith Theegalas, the Michael Kims. How many of these guys, and I know not all of them are playing next week, but how many of these guys play well at the Masters, make a cut, maybe finish in the top 20, and they go on to have a really good rest of the season? I think that's something that I'm probably more looking forward to watching as well this weekend.
Absolutely. There's one other guy that I kind of, as I started looking, I think we should mention, and that's Hideki Matsuyama. I mean, um, he's I think at 3 under, right?
Yeah, and the worst luck
Double
on a
check. Yeah,
beautiful shot yesterday on 13, and he didn't let it derail him, just like Rory didn't let it derail
yeah.
him, and he came out strong today. I think, yeah, Hideki's a great call there. I'm excited, Mac, because this weekend on the betting card and what's left, we got the first round leader
All right.
yesterday. Definitely today, the DFS team played better. I've got positions on first place, second place, T3, T5, T17, T27. My neighbors are going to hate me this weekend because I am going to be glued on every single shot. What is the thing that you look forward to the most before we get on out of here? As you know, we're going into moving day at the Masters. What's the highlight of the next 48 hours of golf for you?
I mean, it's kind of cliche-ish, but it's the second nine at the Masters, especially
The
on
back
Sunday.
nine.
The second nine. Come on. I mean, that's what
Oh,
it's all about. I
sorry.
mean that front nine is kind of you get a hole. The second hole is a birdie hole, that par five that's down the hill. And there's a couple of other chances there, but things like you said, once you start getting to Amen Corner and then a couple of those other holes on the back nine, those are really really fun to watch. So it's a big cliche, but it's really that second nine at Augusta, and they say, like, you can hear it on TV, the roar that kind of goes through the crowd that you hear. I love those 4 and 5 stroke swings. Somebody makes a bogey here and an eagle here, and before you know it, that leaderboard starts to shuffle. That's the fun part of the Masters.
You were talking about, I believe, number 12, which is the Golden Bell 155-yard par 3. The whole names at Augusta are freaking incredible. Tea olive, pink dogwood, flowering peach, flowering crab apple. Sounds like a new pack of White Claws. Magnolia, juniper, pampas, pampas. Everybody that's been to Augusta is going to go, you're a pompous ass for not knowing. Yellow jasmine, Carolina cherry, camellia, white dogwood, golden bell azalea, Chinese fir, firethorn, red bud, nandina.
You gotta
Then
be
of course, you got to come home with holly.
yeah.
I mean, never mind. We're just going to leave that part alone. Let's before we get out of here, we got to get to the important business now. Mike versus Mac update. We're both at -2, which in Mike versus Mac is not the score you want, as Tony
No.
Finau, Big Tone, misses the cut off of Mac's team. And you asked me a little bit ago about what has surprised me the most. It's probably, if I had to pick one thing, it's probably Will Zalatoris. He did not look good at all, and I was really shocked because he has a really good history at Augusta, and we call him Big Lights Willie over here, and he's got the game for the big moments. And I really kind of thought, and I pinpointed this back in like December when I started looking at the guys that we knew were automatically going to be in the Masters. I really kind of felt like he was gonna, worst case scenario being that like T19 kind of group, like 4 or 5 back, but 74, and then he followed it today with a 78. So
Yeah,
-2 for me on Will, -2 for Mac on Tony Finau. Now the whole stage is on the line here as well. I have a slight lead, so if we pull into a tie this week, I would get the bonus points for the stage. So as it sits right now, I have Bryson DeChambeau at the top. He is second. You've got Rory at T3. You have Scotty at T5. And then I've got Justin Thomas, who we talked a little bit about just a few minutes ago, at T27. So interesting here, because if it sat exactly like this, double points in the majors, if it sat exactly like this, it would give us a tie this week, and it would give me stage 1 partial redemption for getting my ass kicked the entire summer after beating you leading up to that last year. So,
but we've got 3 legitimate contenders to win this weekend so far.
don't sleep on JT.
Uh,
So as we sit,
he's a half show behind Jordan Spieth. Let's just be honest. He's a half show behind Jordan Spieth.
don't get me going on that one. All right. So as we sit here now, going into moving day, and we know who's advancing to the weekend, I am going to put you on the spot. Do you want to change or keep your championship pick? You can't do it for Mike versus Mac, but if you had to, let's go back to the baseball theory. $100 of my money right now.
Gotcha.
Who would you put it on to win the green jacket and gold medal and silver trophy, which I think is just interestingly fascinating to me for some reason.
For some reason, I don't know what it is. If I could change it, I got a feeling about Shane Lowry this week.
I would be very happy if Shane Lowry wins.
I know you would, but
happy scale for me is Bryson number 1, Corey Connors technically number 2, because the payout on Corey Connors, especially with what I was able to get him at still today, Bryson would be the big hitter. Shane would actually be 4th on the payout. No, he'd be 3rd on the payout for me, because I did jump on Justin Rose when I saw. Here's the thing about Justin Rose that's amazing. We saw this, and I think I reposted it on our X account. If not, I'll find it and I will. But somebody kind of really highlighted this, and it put it in perspective for me when I was watching him yesterday. Because you and I watch an unhealthy amount of golf. We've seen this several times. When Justin Rose gets in a groove, he is damn good. Damn good.
Oh, yeah.
And the dynamic that he had to go to that 36-hole Open Championship qualifier and just barely made it into the Open Championship and almost won the damn thing last year.
Yep.
And now the next major, he's the lead horse. So I did jump on him after I think the third birdie yesterday. I was like, this looks like one of those Justin Rose things. But as it just scrolled on the bottom of the screen there from our guy Justin Ray Golf on X, there's only been one guy out of the previous 8 that have led both rounds after both rounds to go on and win. Ironically, it was Jordan Spieth back in 2015. So I liked Bryson going into this tournament. I love where he's at. I mean, dude has a guy walking around with like 7 driver heads and a backpack, and you talked about how many shots Max Homa hit, and everybody talked about it and everything.
Right.
Bryson like kind of fell through the cracks. I mean, dude was out till like 8:00 last night banging balls on the driving range and everything. Like, and he's always tweaking. He's always looking for he's such a smart dude. Like, I love watching him, especially when he's at the top of one of these major championships.
Yeah, I mean, he's the professor. I mean, that's what it is, and it takes a lot. That's one of those things about Augusta. There's, I mean, so many nooks and crannies, and so many places on the green that you want to hit or don't want to hit. I mean, you would think from his perspective, because he's that thinking person's golfer. I mean, he puts so much into the mental part of it, that he would love this Augusta challenge, and I think that's exactly what it is to him. It is a challenge. I don't know. I think being at the top, Justin being at the top those first 2 days, I just don't think he's going to have enough to get there. That's why I said I kind of like Shane, kind of just far enough behind where he doesn't have too much pressure on himself on Saturday. He can go out and have another low round and put himself in a good spot on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. So lots of fun stuff coming up. More on the channel. I will set you up on Sunday morning for the final rounds. Tomorrow, TJ is going to take a little spin around everything. Matt's going to take his weekly ride that you need to buckle up for. But those of you that have been with us from the start, when Matt goes. TJ, I haven't actually told you this yet. This is fun story time with Uncle Mike here.
All right.
Obviously I was just back in SoCal and got to see my babies, the San Jose Sharks, because they're literally babies, all of them. We were talking about it, and TJ's line, and I think this sums you up better than Voice of Reason does on our website. He goes, "Man, I love working with Mac. Mac's great because it's like you put a quarter in him and just let him go, and then he goes." I go, "Yep, that's Vegas Mac for you." So Mac will take you on the wild ride. I will set you up Sunday. We've got some changes in our general formatting next week, and don't forget next Saturday, super early, as TJ coined it in his misconduct video today on our social channels at Mike Arana Show. You know what? We're going to watch the playoffs regardless. So our playoff preview show next Saturday, the 19th, it starts at noon Eastern and 9 a.m. on the best coast, the left coast. So make sure you join us for that. Tag a friend, tell a friend. No TikTok live tonight. We're still working on that. Hopefully we can get that out to you soon. Mac is final prediction here. I'm going to stick with Bryson DeChambeau to pull this thing off.
I mean, if you really put it to me, I think Rory is going to win. I got to pick Rory because I need those points. So I'm going with Rory, but I like where Shane Lowry is.
Oh, here you go. I'll throw you a curveball, or
yes,
as my
driver. Here we go.
As my driver usually goes, a wicked banana slice. Give me your dream for what we have in front of us. What is your ultimate pairing? Your final pairing and your second to final pairing. So let's talk about fourth place and third place, second place and first place. With this group that is in contention, what would you like your go-to final 2 groups be here? This is interesting. Total curveball too. So
okay. I want in the second to last group, I want Shane Lowry and Scotty Scheffler, and I want Bryson and Rory in the final group.
I want Bryson and Rory in the final group. I think the dynamics and they're two polar opposite people.
Yeah.
They're two obviously great golfers, but they're two polar opposites in the way they approach the game, the way they think about growing the game. Obviously, there's the Live PGA. Roy's really kind of been the mouthpiece on the PGA side. My second to last group, and this might sound loaded because I do love this guy. I love his game. And the thing with him. So the first guy in that group would be Shane Lowry. Second guy in that group for me would be Corey Connors. And here's why. Corey Connors, and again, they said this on the broadcast today. If Corey Connors' putter shows up this weekend, the rest of his game is already green jacket worthy. When he gets kind of into pressing type situations, he is so heavy on his speed with his putter and he burns edges. So I'd really like to see a guy who's really played great golf over the last 2 years get his chance for more people to know him on a bigger stage. I also came up with this interesting dynamic today as I changed my personal Facebook profile picture to Scotty Scheffler sitting underneath the trees at the closing end of his round today. Freaking iconic shot. And then I was able to capture him on the screen talking to the rules official, and like Scotty's just like looking down at him like this, like, just move the shit so I can hit a golf shot. It's interesting because, and Brian Kirshner, another one of our favorite follows on X when it comes to the golf space. If you know about Brian and his like back and forth with his thoughts on Scotty Scheffler, it's made me think about this a lot. And back in the heyday of where golf really became a lot more mainstream, it was Tiger and it was Phil. And you remember the battles they had. You remember the one where they're introducing Tiger on the tee box and they're like, the 2000 blah, blah, blah Masters champion. And they're listing everything. And Phil just like, all right, we get it. You know, that was when Phil was actually still likable. So a long time ago. There is no secondary to Scotty Scheffler. And I wonder, there's a lot of guys that are real close, but I wonder how many people are really, they don't like Scotty Scheffler because he's so damn good. You know, we've made it a joke now. Mac, for those that don't know, is the president of the Montreal Canadiens fan club. But the villains in sports, we talk about it all the time. And it made me wonder today, just watching, like, yes, it's a very low-key, docile crowd at Augusta. They stay calm, they're quiet, they're respectful, they don't pee in creeks, all that kind of stuff. I didn't really hear as much when Scotty was hitting some great shots today that I have in the past. And I wonder how many people are just like, all right, we know you're good, we get it, blah, blah, blah. Do you have any Scotty Scheffler fatigue? You know, TJ talked about it all football season when we were doing Football Fridays, Mac. I mean, you remember, like, his Chiefs fatigue. I wonder how much there is a Scotty Scheffler fatigue right now, because I kind of feel like I already know how this tournament's going to end, and we've seen this before. And I wonder what that does to the common golf audience.
Yeah, I think Scotty is, it's different. I mean, he's another good dude, you know. It's like it's hard not to like him. I mean, good family guy. I mean, you see him with his family and stuff like that. He just handles everything the right way. And so I think it's a little bit different in golf because, I mean, yeah, Scotty's up there every week, but he's not winning every week. I mean, maybe every other week, but it's right. But he's not winning. I mean, if you look back at the guys that have won, you've had a lot of, first time winners this year. And so I think it's a little bit different from that. I mean, I don't look at it that way. Maybe more because it's such an individual sport as well. Like, it's not like, Scotty's going out and like buying all this stuff. It's just him. I think so. I think that's part of it too. I don't. Yeah, I try to think back. I mean, there was like you were either Tiger or Phil, right?
Mhm.
That's where
Yep.
you were. I mean, you go back even further. You were either Jack or Arnie, right?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I know it's all good.
I had to get the cornball out of the system.
So you're right though. It's like it'd be good if somebody could kind of step up and be, it's Scotty and it's blank right now. It's a blank thing right now. So be interesting to see. People have tried, but nobody's come close to getting that. We've seen. I mean, we all thought for honestly. I mean, it was going to be Jordan. It was going to be Justin. It was going to be Ricky Fowler. I mean, we thought that was the future, and that's not the future anymore. It's completely changed.
Yeah. I hope that we get that for the sake of the game, because I mean, outside of Rob Manfred, Jay Monahan is the second biggest dipshit running a sports league, but that's neither here nor there. When I look at the current landscape of the guys that we see on a regular basis here, I think a lot of people would point to two guys specifically in this new crop of the elite golfers. Obviously, Rory's always going to be there anytime he plays. He's a Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it. But that's where the guys like Ludwig Oberg, who has a lot of general momentum.
Right.
You've got Xander Schauffele when he's back healthy. Colin Morikawa, like he's another guy that I think a lot of us thought was really going to be in that same kind of realm as Scheffler. So of the rest of the group, let's say from going into the season on, is there one guy that you think we could see a Tiger and Phil esque? I'm not saying the same competition, but is there a Phil to Scotty as Tiger? Is there somebody that's right there in your
No,
eyes?
but I don't see it, and I'll tell you why. Because they seem those people that you mentioned, Oberg and Morikawa, they seem more like Scotty than Scotty sometimes. It's kind of like that same personality, And I think that's where Tiger had that. I'm Tiger Woods. I'm working out all the time. I'm the best. That Muhammad Ali kind of thing, and Phil was kind of like the everyday kind of guy. I'm just Phil, and I'm happy to be here, and thanks for everything that you do. That was Phil. There is a guy, but he's not on the tour. I mean, it would be a Bryson. I mean, imagine a Bryson and a Scotty week after week. I mean,
Yeah.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm being honest. Like that would
Seriously.
be
Yeah.
the one, because there you're going to have the people that's because there's a huge difference between Scotty and Bryson. That fan base is completely different. The best one would be, if he could get there, would be Terrell Hatton. That's a guy we need on every week. I mean, that dude is funny as could be. Watching him play golf and melt down, I'm like, but you know what I mean. But honestly, Scotty and Bryson would be kind of
Yeah.
that. You have two different fan bases, and like you said, I think Oberg and Morikawa, that's kind of like, to me, the same fan base that falls in with Scotty.
Yeah, and Kyle Porter on X today earlier, just to wrap this up on Scotty here. Uh he sent this out on X. In his last three holes, Scotty has hit a ball into the flowers on 12, into Rays Creek on 13. The only way that you're supposed to put anything, especially balls, close to Rays Creek is that way. And he's played the last three holes in 2 under. And it
Right.
didn't really catch him till late. He went birdie, par, bogey, birdie, bogey to finish. So, he's got the two bogeys in the last three holes, which is something very un-Scotty like. But then at the
Mhm.
same time, where it really could have went off the rails for him, he played in 2 under. So it's I think that's the scary thing for anybody watching this. I think there's a lot of people that have value positions, kind of like I do right now, like Bryson, Corey Connors, Lowry, Rose. There was people that put money on Rose at the start of the tournament. And we all have the same fear right now, that the Terminator's just hanging around.
Yep.
Somebody let him stick around for the weekend. He's going to play average on Saturday, and we're going to get a graphic at some point on Sunday. And Jim Nantz, as great as he is on the Masters, so good. And Scott Van Pelt, the same thing. Laura Rutledge killing the coverage. Like this is, if we could get golf coverage like this every damn week, it'd be even more popular. But that's a different show, different argument there. But like, we're going to hear Jim Nantz at some point on Sunday, and he's going to go, you talk about how games and tournaments are won. And, you look at Scotty Scheffler's finish yesterday from 16 on, and how he started the first 6 holes today, and how he's got a 4-shot lead. And all of us are going, up yours, Scheffler, because you're killing it every weekend. I feel like that's about to happen. I would love to see Bryson finish this, A, for personal financial gains, B, just because it'd be great. But I kind of feel like we've already seen this movie. It's just Die Hard came out with another one 10 years later again. And it was only last year, Anytime right. And I said it yesterday, Matt, like we didn't nickname him the Terminator on this show for no reason. Like, you let him hang around. There's only one golfer I can remember in my lifetime, if you let him hang around, he was going to slam the door in your face. That was Tiger Woods. So lots of fun stuff. Again, next Saturday, join us on all of our social channels that you're watching us on right now live. We will be previewing the Stanley Cup playoffs. We've got some stuff tomorrow. I will set you up for our day on Sunday to finish the Masters. Also, the last day of the NBA regular season. A lot of fun stuff coming up and going on in the sports world right now. So, to the people behind the scenes that you don't normally see, to TJ, who would tell you we're on all social channels, at Mike Arana Show, everywhere but Snapchat, because we're not 12 and Snapchat sucks. And for the guy that would be the best caddy I'd never listen to, for Vegas Mac, we will talk to you. Enjoy the Masters. Golf clap. We're out.